Baseball's coming to an end. Baseball is wrapping up here. We're getting to the end of the season. Some stuff, in my opinion, is set in stone. It's very funny that the central divisions in both the AL and the NL are not set in stone, but the AL East, the AL West, the NL East, and the NL West, those things are a wrap. Go ahead and wrap a bow up on it and send it off. The Yankees and the Astros dominating their divisions. The Dodgers are dominating their division. And the Mets are 7 games up on the Braves right now. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's completely out of reach, but the Mets are very good, especially with the way DeGrom just came back. DeGrom looked terrifying. And the fact that you have DeGrom and Scherzer and Bassett and some of that lineup on the Mets is very, very good. Minnesota is only a game up on Cleveland. I don't know who wins that division. It doesn't fucking matter. None of these teams, the ALCS is set. It's the New York Yankees versus the Houston fucking Astros, and the Houston Astros own the New York Yankees, so I've never been more excited for us to go back to the World Series. But Minnesota's not beating any of these teams. Cleveland's not beating any of these teams. And the only ones that I'll give a shot to are these wild card teams like Toronto and Tampa Bay. Even Seattle is technically in the wild card right now. Those 3 teams, I have them definitely beating Minnesota and Cleveland. And I think they're going to be a hard out, all of them. Toronto doesn't really have the pitching. I don't understand Tampa Bay. I don't know how they do this every single year. I know that they have good players, but every single year they're here, they're a hard out, they're in contention, they're good record, and Toronto and Tampa Bay are definitely in. I think Seattle is fighting for that last wild card spot because Baltimore is only 1 game behind. How funny is that the entire AL East could go to the playoffs, other than Boston? But that's just a bizarre stat that everybody from the NL East is pretty good. Even Boston's 4.5 games out of the wild card, and they're not a terrible team. I know that they've traded some pieces away, like Christian Vasquez. Welcome to the Astros. But yeah, Baltimore's a game back on the wild card. Cleveland's a game back on Minnesota in the AL. I think this one's all but set. I think Minnesota probably should win that. You'll get some wild card games of, let's see, that would make Seattle play Minnesota at this point, and Tampa Bay and Toronto would play against each other. Houston and New York would get the bye. Let me just do that math real quick. I honestly don't think Minnesota could beat Seattle. I think Seattle might win that. And Tampa Bay, Toronto, that's tough. I'll go with Tampa Bay at this moment just because Toronto has kind of skidded a little bit. That being said, any of those 4 teams, they don't stand a shot. The next team that they face will be Houston or New York, and they're going to get fucking stomped. There's no stopping us. Yankees did just lose Carpenter, though. I like that a lot. I like the fact that y'all got hurt. Fuck the Yankees. And, yeah, I think the ALCS is all but set. I also think the same thing could be said over there in those 2 teams that I said were dominating the NL, the Mets and the Dodgers. That should be your NLCS. I don't want to count the Cardinals out because the Cardinals have now taken that division over of Milwaukee, who made some very questionable calls as far as trades that they did. And they are 2 games up right now in the NL Central. We have Atlanta, who I told you is 7 games back of the Mets, but they are number 1 in the wild card. They will probably definitely lock a spot. Philly has come on as of recently and played really well. And San Diego Padres, after trading for Juan Soto and having this 3-headed monster, which we haven't really got to see yet because Tatis hasn't played. When Tatis does play, holy shit, that's a very tough 3. But honestly, other than that 3, they're not very scary, and their pitching is nothing to write home about. So I don't think the Dodgers or the Mets are afraid of the Padres. But going forward, if they are able to pick up some pitchers and kind of fill out the rest of that squad, that 3-headed monster of Juan Soto, Machado, and Tatis, which I said Machado was on the Dodgers. I just say things, I don't know. I'm looking around here and I've got a little thing and I'm just, but yeah, so So baseball. I think I covered it all. Milwaukee is one game back of the wild card, meaning that if they did not win their division, there's a chance they probably will miss the playoffs. San Francisco is 5.5 games back, and I think it's after that it's a joke. So I think those are the only teams that are even close to sniffing back in there. But let's go ahead and play this game. The Cardinals win their division, so then they're going to play the Padres. That's actually a really interesting matchup. I don't know. Atlanta and Philly, another very interesting matchup. I don't know that either. But I do know that coming out of that, the Mets and the Dodgers should beat both of those teams. Should. In the AL, I'm all but certain. In the NL, it's more of a question mark, and it's going to be tighter games, I believe. But the AL is going to be Houston, New York Yankees, ALCS. Jot it down. But baseball coming to an end. You're out.